Season 50, war number 2, and we are up against SSx. This time my team will be Silk, Angela and Onslaught. I will be taking path 5 in section 1, path 6 in section 2, and then I will be taking an arcade, Onslaught, Maestro, Mangog, as well as a Shuri mini-boss, and that will be it for this war. So one off of the maximum fights you can take. I will have the Quicksilver boss taken by someone else in the battle group, and at this point I can't remember who, but it doesn't matter. I will get to fight some more bosses in the later wars. Now starting off here we have an American Chavez on the event flow knockdown and right back at it node, and I will be taking the fight with Silk. I've taken this specific matchup quite a few times at this point, and there's nothing different about it. It's a fairly straightforward Silk fight, just bait special once, dex them, and repeat until American Chavez is dead. It doesn't really matter what kind of rotation you use, whether or not you use specials or not, you will be able to take the fight down in the 5 minutes, a few times over if necessary. Usually I just tend to go for a heavy chain into a special 2 here, with that single Fury passive. The special 2, even with the protection up, does deal a decent amount of damage. I do believe the burst damage on your specials will also trigger after the event flow protection has been removed off of the opponent, which is also nice, but even if it doesn't work like that, well, the damage is still there. So one more special 2, and this American Chavez goes down in less than a minute, full yellow bar. Silk makes it fairly simple, and even if you happen to push her to a special 2 for some reason, there is always Silk's auto evade to help you deal with that. Then we have a Darkhawk here on the event for knockdown and heavy hitter nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Angela. Now Angela, being a Clarity champion, means that as soon as I get that Clarity passive up, there will no longer be any evades or auto blocks in the entire fight. Thanks to the amount of buffs that Angela gains, basically every single time you crit you will gain a buff, which then allows you to keep those Clarity passives up a lot easier. Now, since I suck at the game, I ended up getting some hits there. I got caught on a dashback, and it sucks. I will have to use a potion or 2 because of it, but luckily this is just a 6-star Darkhawk. He doesn't hit all that hard. Now, to avoid the miss mechanic after his special 2, I just went ahead and used my special 1 to knock him down, to make him switch modes. The stealth mode will not be able to miss special attacks, so that is a safe way to get around it. The shield mode, even though the auto block is dealt with, does still reduce the damage you deal to him, so he is a bit tankier than a normal champion would be here, but the auto block is essentially the only real annoying defensive mechanic he has, and it is completely shut down by the tactic. Fight goes down, and apart from me eating those few hits earlier, it was pretty clean, and Darkhawk is kind of a forgotten champion at this point. I am glad that this meta does bring him to the light a little bit more. However, since the attack tactic also is a hard counter to him, he's unfortunately not doing too well. Then we have a bishop here on the superior specials, and whatever else this node had on, I missed it and I can't be bothered to check it again. Regardless, I will be taking this fight with Silk. Now, as usual, taking this fight with Silk, I am just gonna climb up to a special 3 and do the usual Silk special 3 rotation, and the fight will be over. He's not surviving it, and no one survives it, so that's what I'm gonna be doing here. Now, just to be safe, I will go ahead and bait the special 2 here, full dex it, and even if I miss the full dex, once again Silk's auto evade is there to save me, and now for the rest of the fight, he's not gonna be able to do anything at all. The special 3's passive stun will allow me to just get in my combo immediately afterwards, and then he's not gonna be able to escape the combo until, well, he's well dead and rested, and yeah, he's not getting back up. Couldn't even get to my striker there at all. The health pool is just not there, and Yeah, I've yet to see Silk's full damage on that rotation. I need a fight that I can actually survive it. Be able to test that. I'd be very interested in how much it can do with full crits, but maybe another time. Then we have a Scorpion here on the passively special node, and I will be taking it with Angela. Once again, the tactic here is present, but due to the clarity passives from your attack tactic, completely shutting down the defense tactic, this Scorpion is essentially nodeless, without even his own Scorpion Sense Evade to worry about. Now if I were to block any specials here, he would be gaining prowess from the node, and if he has 3 of them, his specials would be unblockable. However, both of his specials are fairly simple to full decks. Special 2 is easier, so I went with that, but the special 1 as well. As long as you know the timing, it's not too difficult to avoid. Fight went down, Scorpion's health pool is pretty small and Angela hits very hard, so it was a quick fight and no real issues there at all. Then we have an arcade on the Ebb and Flow knockdown and right back at it mini-boss node along with aggression prowess, and I will be taking this fight with Angela. I had a teammate place the White Magneto pre-fight here for me to give me those passive parry stuns as well as a decent damage boost. And now, well, this guy honestly is not hard, as you probably saw in the previous video. As long as you just bait his special 2s, dex the last hit, and well, that's about all there really is to him. He's not gonna be able to do anything, well, anything really. Now one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned last time is that you don't wanna get him all the way into his corner, because usually you wanna be betting heavies against this guy for openings to avoid him using that special 1, but if you are all the way in the right corner doing the 4-hit combo and straight up blocking immediately afterwards, if he uses his heavy charge there, he will passively stun you since you're standing on that specific spot on the map. So that's why you see me back off immediately when I get him in the corner. I will not sit still and allow him even the chance to throw his heavy attack, just because, well, while it wouldn't kill me, it will deal some damage, and his heavy attack does still inflict the poison cloud, which you wanna avoid if you wanna avoid ramping up his tokens. The fight goes down, no real issues there. He played fairly aggressively, or aggressively enough that he wasn't being annoying, and I was able to just only bait the special 2s, which do deal some chip damage if you can't full dex them. I'm definitely not comfortable doing that, especially at this point, but even then it's not too bad, and Angela has that tiny bit of regen to help her out with that kind of stuff. Then we have an Onslaught here on the Power Focus 2 and Scared Stiff mini-boss node, and I'm taking the fight with Silk. Now as usual, when using Silk, plan is to just get the special 3 and then the fight is done, and that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing here. Now this one is slightly scarier than the Bishop was, mainly because the Crush on Onslaught as well as the Root node being there for me to worry about. So I can't exactly just bait heavy attacks in his corner. If he has the Crush charge and I try to bet a heavy, if he light taps me, well, he's gonna combo me, and then that would also mean if he crits, he shuts down my evade, and then his special 2 or even special 1 could potentially catch me. But none of that matters at this point. I already got the special 3. At this point, the fight is done. As usual, he just can't do anything except do some little chip damage with those neuroshocks as they kept stacking up. Silk is just incredibly powerful, and if there's nothing to stop the special 3 rotation, she's not gonna struggle at all. Now, there are a few things that could go against her, mainly debuff shrugging or, I don't know, stun immunity are good examples, but most of the fights in Alliance War are ones that she can take with the special 3 rotation. Then we have a Maestro here on the Hazashit Shock and Bleed node along with Conflictor, and I'm taking the fight with Onslaught. Onslaught is an excellent option here due to the fact that he doesn't take damage from the shocks or the bleed debuffs from the attack node, and the shock debuffs also ramp up your neuroshocks for you, so you can skip your special 1 and climb up straight to a special 2. Another great thing here is that the pause mechanic on Onslaught's heavy attack is not affected by ability accuracy, so it will go straight through Maestro's glancing, allowing you an easy access to your pause for the degens and the neuroshocks. The heavy punish against Maestro's heavy is also incredibly simple, and Onslaught's huge heavy range is very helpful for being able to land it. Now I already got all the degens on, so at this point it's just a matter of time. Maestro is slowly but surely melting, and well, there he goes. Fight lasted just under a minute. I did take some chip damage there from blocking hits when baiting heavies, as well as the cosmic radiation damage, which is, well, unavoidable with any champion. Regardless, the fight was incredibly easy, and as long as you just manage his power bar so that he doesn't get the special 3 even with the conflictor node, you should be fine taking it with Onslaught, no matter how big of a Maestro it is. Then we have a Mangog on the Aspect of Evolution miniboss node as usual, and I'm using Silk with the good old special 3 strat, and we've seen this fight plenty of times at this point. I don't need to explain it, I just get the special 3, I do the rotation, the fight is done, and Mangog can't do anything about it. Now he tried to use his special 2 there, which is fine, since once again I do have Silk's auto evade to save me, and at this point in time the bug with Mangog's special 2 has also been fixed, so he will not be able to power steal you if you dex or evade or phase the first hit of his special 2, which is also pretty neat. Before, when that bug was still happening, it did make this fight slightly more annoying, but now it's just a free fight. There's really no reason not to use Silk here if you see the matchup, and also I wouldn't even consider it worth it to use Mangog for that placement. Then we have the final fight of this war, a Shuri on the Combat Deja Prowess and Conflictor miniboss node, and I will be taking the fight with Angela. Now I had a teammate place a White Magneto pre-fight for this fight as well, to allow me to parry stun her without Conflictor eating the parry. Now, also to mention, Angela can parry non-contact hits, which is, well, the main idea in this matchup, to make the fight safe and very easy to take as well. Again, the clarity completely shuts down the defense tactic here, so I can just, well, completely ignore the evade and auto block, and then all that's left is just, well, almost a nodeless Shuri. I am doing my best to alternate which hits I throw, so that the Combat Deja Vu Prowess node would not trigger. The main issue with that is that the node also gives the defender an impact passive, I believe that's what it's called, that increases their block penetration. And that combined with stacking those prowesses would mean that blocking Shuri specials here would hurt quite a bit more than they do at base. So that's why I'm avoiding it as well. I'm sure Angela would be able to survive blocking some specials by just doing full combos and almost ignoring the whole Combat Deja Vu node. But since this fight can be played very safely by alternating hits, that's what I'm doing. All it's gonna do is cost a little bit of time, but I'm not too worried about that. Most of these wars are decided on defender kills instead of time, and well, as for the results, we did end up losing the war 4-11. We had a horrible war, died 11 times, even though the tactics aren't difficult at all, really, and yeah, SSx definitely deserved to take this one.